we take a step back and look at all the fundamentals in Japan, the growth is looking okay, sanguine. We have headline inflation, 3 in 3 actually, so 3% inflation for more than 3 consecutive years in Japan. And these are all pretty much aligned for a higher base rates in Japan, but the reason why BOJ is still behind the curve is because there's several uncertainties they have raised year to date, right? Number 1 is tariff, number 2 is US dollar yen level, and number 3 is obviously domestic politics development. And as of now, we have I think the tariff front is we have confirmed that Japan is not going to get the worst of the whole case scenario, right? So the tariff front and US dollar yen is gone. The uncertainty there is somewhat alleviated now. And in terms of domestic politics wise, PM Ishiba is losing popularity in Japan, and we are not going to speculate on politics, right? Just for the sake of it, but there is a potential possibility that PM Ishiba will have to step down, or someone else will have to replace him if his popularity continues to plunge from here. So BOJ, I think are looking at that at a very closely, and they just don't have the political capital to actually hike at this point now. But if we do see more certainty in that political front, right, and I think BOJ will resume its hiking path, albeit in a very small steps, right? We're talking about 25 basis points or 50 basis points from here until they reach terminal rate. And our base case is that if we do see that certainty in political situation in Japan, they will hike by year end this year once. If not, we'll probably delay until early next year.
Yeah, when we talk about Ishiba's position at the moment, Masa-san, there's also been, of course, concerns, and we've been hearing it from the opposition parties about addressing cost of living and concerns around inflation in the country as well. Yesterday, we saw that in the lower house that Ishiba-san spoke about potentially putting forward extra budget here in the autumn as well, and there is still that talk around a potential cut to the sales tax. How likely do you think this sort of policy will come through now with the Prime Minister in that minority position? And then what is then the impact in terms of the JGB market? Is a lot of that already been priced in as well?
I think you raised Lin, I think you raised a pretty interesting question. Japan has been through this many times, right? It's always, when you lose popularity, I think it's elsewhere too, right? You kind of step on the fiscal accelerator and try to pump in and spend more money to gain your popularity. But for the case of Japan, this has been, it's like a merry-go-round, has been around for a long time. And this time wise, I do not think that they will have, they will have, a bit of extra space to spend. But then just because of the whole political situation, and also, Japan is still pretty much, fiscal discipline is still a pretty much ingrained mindset in the current LDP leadership administration. So I think that even with fiscal spending, it will just be a bit more. And we do not foresee a big, big bang like what we see in the US, for instance, right? When they have the one big beautiful bill, right? In Japan, we might have a small big beautiful small bill, and I think in terms of market price action wise, in terms of JGB, it has more or less, priced in a bit, quite a lot for especially in the super long end. If you have seen, the steepening of the curve year to date, and if we do have that small fiscal spending coming out, sure, JGB yield or curve will steepen a bit from here. But I think this is the entry point that investors should be really looking at if they really want to allocate some money to JGB, especially on a hedge basis, just because of the premium you're getting back, hedging back to the home currency, for instance, for US or European investors.